I shall open my lips and my mouth shall declare thy praise. I don't know how many of you travel, but I think most of you have traveled at one time or another. Some of you are frequent flyers, so you travel quite a bit. But what I'm about to say to you, if you've been a traveler, you will understand exactly what I'm going to be talking about. Typically, when I know that I have to go somewhere, I know that I can't just get up and be somewhere. First, I have to decide where I am going and the purpose of my trip. Most of us, when we travel, we have an intent to come back. So that has a lot of bearing on our preparation. And those who intend not to come back, they would have a completely, maybe slightly different preparation. But if, like most of us, we are wanting to return, we know we need to take enough clothing for us and to prepare to use whatever we need to use when we're gone from home. And we make sure we have our toothbrush and those that shaving kits and all the good stuff, and deodorant and all the wonderful stuff that most of us can't live without, and pack our suitcases. Some of us travel like a monk. You only have one change, and that was it. But most of us do a lot more than that. And when we travel, we have to be preparing. And I know the worst part about traveling is making sure getting everything ready for your trip. Because often when you arrive to your destination, you'll discover you have not been fully packed and you weren't fully prepared, and you are missing some important things that you needed on your particular trip. So preparation is very essential. Brothers and sisters, we are embarking on a trip this season. We are traveling the journey into Lent. And today Zacchaeus reminds us. Zacchaeus is, and the story of Zacchaeus is saying, your flight time is coming really soon. I think you need to be ready. And we need to be ready as the people of God. And Jesus went to Jericho, and this wonderful little town, now it's called Nablus. He went to the city, and crowds were all over him and all around him. And there was a little man of personality that was so unique and position that was despised by many. His position was in the tax business. And he worked for the state. He worked for the government. And that wasn't a good position to be in. Most people don't like tax people because, you know, someone is gonna ask you for your tax and your money, and often they want to ask for more money than you should pay. So that position, that role of a tax collector was not a good role. And most people consider tax collectors to be sinners. I think they weren't any different, any more sinner than anybody else. I think they were a lot of people that fall into this category of being sinful. And when he climbed up, because of his stature, he was a small man. But I tell you, when he asked you to pay your dues, what was required of you, people listened to him, despite his size. He commanded respect and response. I don't know whether obviously there was no love there, but he commanded response from anybody that he asked, because he had very significant power in collecting what you owed. Can you imagine somebody from the IRS contacts you today and tell you, I am such and such, and you're behind on your taxes, and I need it right now. Most of us, if we haven't done it, at least the minute we hear the phone call, receive the phone call, we tremble. We don't like it. We don't like it. We don't like it when we get audited, and we don't like it when we pay taxes. And if you like to pay taxes, you'll be very unique. I'm not going to ask if you really like to pay tax, because generally speaking, most people don't like to pay that one. And I've never seen someone that really eagerly says, Uncle Sam, let me give you more. You're not asking enough. You're not asking enough. We ought to pay you more. And the revenues to the state is very essential. It's the benefit the general public. So I think you need to ask more. And if you don't, once in a while, I'll tip you, give you another 10% or 15%. Anyway, that was Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus, a man who was not very well liked, yet a very significant role in his community and in relation to the state. He had a very special heart. He wanted to know Jesus. And he knew he was short, so he went outside and found a sycamore tree. Not like the one we have, much bigger sycamore tree than what we have. And he climbed up like a little child, just to observe Jesus, even from a distance. And Jesus, as he passed by him, he looked up, he said, Zacchaeus. And I have a feeling, if I were Zacchaeus and I heard the Lord calls my name, I would freak out. How did you know my name? He said, Nathaniel, I knew you when you were under the fig tree. No one was around. How did you see me? Zacchaeus, who told you your name, my name? He knew. Not only he knew his name, he knew his spiritual and mental disposition. He was right. He was ready. Because if he wasn't ready, there is nothing you could say to make a difference. It's almost like an avocado. How many of us bought an avocado that wanted to eat it, and you looked at it and said, hey, it's been around for quite some time, it ought to be ripe. And you cut through it and it's hard as rock. It hasn't ripe. And you sunk your teeth in it. And you couldn't even dig your teeth out of it because it wasn't ripe. But when it's ripe, it melts in your mouth. When one is spiritually ripe, when he or she hears the Lord's commands and words, he melts. And all of a sudden, he has no, or she has no objection to anything the Lord asks.